Are you drawn to the dark? Do you find yourself enticed in the forbidden and ominous? Join me, Steph, as I explore all things menacing and malevolent in my podcast, Sinister Story Hour. I discuss true stories of cults and crimes, with the occasional urban legend. I also dedicate episodes to missing persons in the United States. And you could be the missing link to provide information and clues that will help to bring them home. Join me every week for a new story. Come on in, sit down, and get ready, because it's story time.
Darkcast Network. Indie pods with a dark side.
You are listening to Castles and Cryptids, where the castles are haunted and the cryptids are cryptic as fuck. And I'm your host, Alana.
I'm Kelsey.
And we are back for another round of psychics and... Mine's more of a psychic.
Okay. Psychic, spiritualists, mediums.
And more. Yeah, it's like the gamut. Oh, I mean, it's tough because you don't want to lump them all together. But anyway, we'll get into it. There's differences, of course, in people's actual abilities, and some people are downright hoaxers, as we always seem to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn it. Yeah, it was really easier to get away with back in the day. I think it was part of the problem. But
Absolutely. I feel like news just traveled mostly by word of mouth, and newspapers that did not come out like every single day.
it's,
So,
yeah, the news did travel a lot slower. And now it's
yeah.
like that expression that I heard that I like, that was like, a lie can travel around the world before the truth can get its shoes on, or some variations of
Oh.
that. And it's just so true nowadays, you know. You can just post something, it can go viral, and it's out there.
The stupid like clickbait headline.
Oh no.
When the actual information in the article that it's not really saying that, but that's what they chose to put as the headline, and that's what everybody reads or remembers.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a lot of clickbaitery
Yeah.
going on. Yeah, we will never do that to you. We'll try not to. We might give the title something good sounding, because you got to get a catchy title. I mean, you want to pull people in, right? But I never want to be like disingenuous as to what the actual content is.
Yeah.
I mean, we're called Castles and Cryptids, and damn it, you're going to get some castles and you're going to get some cryptids, and you're also going to get some history, and we'll
Yeah.
find ourselves in the history charts again, because we
I
talk
was gonna
about
say
lot
a
of...
whole lot of other stuff.
Yeah, well, it goes along with castles. They're old as that. As F. That's a new one. Yeah. I forgot what I was gonna say. Well, welcome back. If you guys are returning customers, we hope you enjoyed the kind of first parter, which was
Yeah.
Kelsey's case.
The Davenport brothers. It was
I called
fun.
it the Davenport Files.
I know, I liked that.
I was like, this feels right.
Yeah.
I'll still have to make a post on Instagram, because they had some cool mustaches. I hadn't really looked at them
They
before I was doing
did.
the post.
Yeah. Yeah, they look wild.
It's like, you're so of the time.
Yeah, so stereotypically 1800s gentlemen.
There's a very big difference between that mustache and like the 70s stash, that's for sure. Oh, I know what I was gonna mention. It wasn't even anything, but when we were talking about clickbait and stuff, is that have you guys noticed on the Spotify now, they break things into sections? And it's not us. We don't do it. It, like last time, because we talked about stupid American election for a while. It was like politics and something or whatever it called, like our intro part, and I was like, oh no.
Oh no.
I didn't realize it was going to call us out for what we were actually talking about. Yeah, you'll have like little sections, like almost like little chapters. Like, have you seen that on like YouTube?
Oh yeah,
Where it's like,
automatic chapters.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's weird. It divides it up for you. It does it to our episodes.
Interesting. I've never
I
noticed that,
know.
but I also
It's
don't go on
new.
Spotify a lot.
Yeah, it's a newer Spotify
I
thing. It's like
just
the comments they have now.
yeah, I really just go on there to like add the episode to the website, like embed it and everything if
Yeah.
people want to use that. Other than that, I don't really go on Spotify a whole lot for the fact that on my
No diss
computer
on that. Yeah.
it's not even my account logged in. I'm logged in under your account to access or one for the podcast. I don't even have my own logged in anywhere.
Oh,
So
yeah, probably because it used to be associated with Spotify for podcasters, and that was all one. I don't know. Who knows?
yeah. And then
That's
I think
weird.
Zencaster, if you log into Zencaster, it's like logged you into Spotify or something too. Something up with like the two of them still.
Oh, who knows? I don't know how this stuff works. We don't know what we're doing half the time.
Yeah.
It's a journey, you
Did we
guys.
ever, have we fooled you guys into thinking we ever knew what we were doing?
No, but that's okay. All independent podcasters get started somewhere, and some of them are like, I don't know. Anyway, I'm tangenting. Sinisterhood really impresses me. They don't have like any like assistants or like managers, helpers. The one's husband does the editing, but like basically other than that, they're like all themselves, and they make a lot of money
Nice.
on Patreon. I'm like, good for you. You guys are fucking funny.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
We've been faking it till we make it for 3 years now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then like that does get me to touch on. We are gonna release the something on Patreon soon. I'm probably gonna put out a what I'm gonna call the blooper cut because
Yeah.
we haven't had much time to record anything extra this month, and y'all may have noticed. I don't know. We're sorry, but we're trying, and I'm gonna put out some like extra stuff I have that's like some banter and some bloopers and some silly outtakes that may or may not involve cats. Probably.
Cat shenanigans.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of like that stuff when people do a little extra on Patreon where you just get a little bit more of them shooting the shit and like, yeah. So if people want
Yeah.
that, they can come over and, give us some donut money on Patreon. And
Yeah.
we'll appreciate it, eh?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all well and good. And it makes a good Christmas present too. You can gift a Patreon membership, I've heard.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I joined somebody's Patreon the other day and it was like gift a member
You
ship and I was
did?
like, yeah, I was like, I didn't know you could do that.
Very cool option.
Yeah, there's like a
definitely.
YouTube reactor I like, and he's been posting stuff a week early on Patreon, and he's about to start a show I really like, and he's just finishing up
Nice.
one, so I was like getting tired of waiting for the episode, so I was like, okay, for a couple weeks I'm
Wow.
gonna do this
Yeah,
for
because
1 month and
you don't
then
always do
finish off.
that too.
No, I
Yeah.
had kind of canceled all my other ones.
I sometimes have to
So
do that. It's like it depends on where
yeah.
I'm at financially, and that's fine. I'm sure they understand. We're all just doing our
Yeah,
own
so I
thing.
was like, oh, okay, then it gets like that show done, and maybe the I'll get the start of the other show a week early. Um,
What's just their
yeah,
name? You give them a shout out?
it's oh shoot.
Joins their Patreon. Can't recall name.
Well, I have like I don't know, probably 10 movie reaction channels I watch
Oh, okay,
now.
okay.
So
Yeah, Pat and Rain do watch quite a few of those. Like Rain watches the kill count guy. kill
Mm.
count, whatever.
Yeah, I
don't
think
know.
it's. Hold on, I gotta open my YouTube.
That's
Check.
funny.
He's Movie Man 101, and he was just finishing up. He's just finishing up Interview with the Vampire, but then he's gonna start.
Okay.
Yeah, but then he's gonna start Dark.
Oh
And
yeah, that was a good show too.
yeah, and
Right.
he's done Severance and everything like that, which is he like I had watched quite a few other people react to different shows, and he definitely
Yeah.
is like picking up on a lot more, even after by the time I watched other people reacting to even Severance. I had seen
Mm-hmm.
most of the episodes almost 10 times each, and then just watching his reactions to it and the stuff he was picking up on, it was
Whoa.
like I hadn't seen the show before. Like I hadn't
Oh,
noticed
crazy.
anything, and he's like catching all the stuff on the first try. So I was like, I need to watch this guy watch Dark, because Dark is so
Yeah.
well thought out, and there's so many little details, and he's like keeping notebooks of like character charts and all this stuff. I was like, okay,
Because
this is gonna be
yeah.
amazing.
Because that show is complex with the different
It is
times
so
lines.
complex. And
I love watching those people, but I don't think I could ever do it myself. Because I'm like,
no, it's a
that was a
lot.
great episode, you know? Or like you have some thoughts, but I feel like I couldn't do it every week. And like,
Yeah.
I feel like it could make it feel like work too, because you have to rewatch and write things down, and it could take the fun out of
Yeah.
it. I worry.
His
Yeah.
Well, because like I had planned at some point to doing a rewatch to the show, to try and pick up on some more stuff, but I was like, okay, I feel like if I just wait and watch the show, like as he's reacting to it, that'll be my
Yeah.
rewatch, and then I'll never have to watch it again because I'll
Oh
know
my god.
everything. Um,
Not like Severance, which you watched 10 times apparently.
yeah, between all like the different reactors, there was like a boom, all of them were like doing the
Oh.
show.
Okay, gotcha.
Also very, very good show. Um,
Is what is that one again? The premise?
it's like Adam Scott and
Oh,
a bunch of
yes.
other people. Ben Stiller is like writing and producing it.
I
He's one of
think
the
I know.
creators, and it's like workplace, but there's sinister shit going on and
Hmm.
weird stuff that they haven't explained yet. And
Is it the one where you
um,
like when you get home from work you forget it, you don't know anything that happened at work, like you're a separate person?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So
I've heard of
when you're
that.
at work, you don't know who you are outside of work, and when you um or your outie, they call it, you don't remember anything you did like for your 8 hours at work. So like,
I love that they call it that.
yeah, they also like haven't revealed what each department is actually doing. Like they've shown
Mm,
you what they're doing, but it's like encrypted and that kind of stuff. So it looks like, honestly looks like the
right.
Matrix. Like there's all these numbers and stuff and they're just doing stuff to it,
Oh
but they
god.
don't even know what they're doing and stuff. So you're like, well, what possibly could be happening? So
Yeah, you're just a cog in the machine and you don't know what the machine's doing.
yeah, and like the one department is like 3D printing all this stuff, but I think
Ooh,
in one episode some of the stuff they were 3D printing was like watering cans, and you're like, why? You're in office. Why do you need a bunch of watering cans? But then they're like, oh, but
okay.
I think at one point they make an offhanded comment like, oh, well, last week it was hatchets. And you're like, why are you 3D printing hatchets?
Not just manufacturing them to sell. Okay.
Like so
Weird.
weird. Yeah. Yeah, there's some weirdness. Very, very good show too. Highly
I mean,
recommend.
those are the shows
It's
I get obsessed over. They gotta have some weirdness. Like Lost was probably the
yeah.
first show I got obsessed over, and it's got sort of that
Yeah.
sci-fi,
Yep, I
supernatural,
like that
whatever.
kind of stuff. The mystery,
Hmm.
sci-fi,
But it's like based in the real world usually, yeah. But it's like
yeah, it's
has
like
some
more
element of that,
realistic.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like that kind of show, yeah.
Yeah, very good. Mm-hmm. There's your movie recommendations or TV shows, I guess. Darkcast.
Oh my gosh. I was like, that could literally be an easy monthly segment we do. We just clip out the 10 minutes of us talking about whatever we watched every show. Like before and after the
Right?
pod we usually do. Oh my gosh. But I won't. But I will tell you that I watched Smile too, and it was pretty good. She
Um,
smiled. She smiled. With a creepy smile.
I
Oh my god.
I didn't pay to watch it, but I watched like a bunch of people react to it, so I feel like I've seen almost
Did you?
99% of it.
Okay.
So yeah.
That's probably good because, yeah, it was a little slow at times where you were like, could we cut out this dance sequence? But then jump scare, so yeah.
Yeah, I will
Yeah.
have to say I really, really, really loved the part where all the
Spoilers?
I- yeah, spoilers if you haven't seen it.
I think I know what you're gonna
Um,
say. Okay.
like the backup
Dance troupe?
dancers and everything.
Yes.
Yeah, the dance troupe or whatever, and they're like there, and then they go, and then
Totally.
especially when they're coming down the hallway and they're all like doing that.
Every time she looks back, they're closer.
Oh,
Yeah, apparently there's a
so
name for
creepy.
that. Anyway.
Yeah, so well done. I
Yeah.
liked that part of it. I thought that was really, really cool.
Right, it's not
Um,
just one of them being all creepy. It's a bunch of them. Yeah, it made me think of
yeah.
haunted houses and like the one you went to at the Dedmonton haunted house and like how
Yeah.
they were doing that in the strobe lighting and oh
Yeah, I told you
yeah.
about the one that they did that. in the-
I swear Rain said there's a little name for that trope when every time the character looks back something's closer, but I can't remember what it was, so that's not helpful. But
I know there's kind of a thing about Doctor Who
is there?
with it. Yeah, about like closing your eyes and
Okay.
I can't remember what it's about because I don't watch Doctor Who, but yeah, it did get mentioned by a couple people that I
Mm,
ran across
watched a
about that,
couple
about looking away
episodes.
and then when you look back,
Yeah.
they've moved. Yeah.
Creepy. Well,
Anyway,
yes, we are ready to talk about some stuff that might seem a little creepy, but it's,
ooh.
that's only if anything comes true, right? Uh, so I'm going to tell you about a psychic and seer who made some predictions named Baba Vanga, who is from Bulgaria. She's a blind Bulgarian mystic.
Blind. Okay.
Yeah, she really has that. Oh, I should have put some pictures up because it really has a look of a old timey prophetess, if you will.
Nice. Yeah.
So, all right, we'll start by asking some questions. Did Nostradamus really predict the events of 9/11? Or did psychic Jean Dixon predict the assassination of JFK? Maybe not.
Did
Some of
the
these
did the Simpsons predict apparently everything that's ever happened?
Trump getting elected, et cetera, et cetera. Damn it, I won't want to mention him again. Okay, yes. It's kind of like those
Other
ones where you're like, did these predictions mean that like they really had a cool power?
Yeah.
And it's hit and miss, right? Just like, I mean, a lot of psychics, they're not always 100% accurate, even the ones that help solve crimes or whatever.
Yeah.
And then some are so scarily good. Like a quick shout out to Creeps and Crimes had on their resident, like their local psychic medium that they like to have on. Her name's Susan, and she was on there while they were listening to their people's listener stories that they wrote in, and she was like reading them while they were telling the stories. Like, yes, that time you thought it was a sign from your dead dad, it was, and he's also got some other stuff to tell you. If you want to call me personally, I'll give it to you. Like, just you know what I mean? Not the
Oh,
kind that have
creepy.
to like. Yeah, they don't have to cold read. They don't have to ask you any, oh, I see you have a man that you're really close to in your life. Like they can just do it. I was like, she's
Yeah.
basically reading them over a podcast. It's crazy.
Wow.
So Briefly, yes, the one I mentioned, Jean Dixon, was an American psychic and astrologer who was born Emma Pinkert. These are just some of the other people who made some um, predictions as well. And, when they're ladies, I think that's cool too.
Yeah.
And this lady was one of 10 children born to a family in Wisconsin. And her birth date, I just thought this was a fun fact, was like not really known because it was often reported as 1918. And it said Dixon would proffer this date to reporters, at one point even producing a passport to this effect. But she once testified in a deposition that she was born in 1910, so 8 years earlier. An investigation by a reporter for the National Observer who interviewed family members and examined official records concluded she was born in 1904.
Even
So not
earlier.
1918, yeah. I just always find that funny when they lie about their age.
They're like, I'm not 35, I'm 29, but in reality, I'm 40.
Right, and we're like, yeah,
Just
29.
keeps getting, it just keeps
Yeah.
getting like 5 years older.
29.
every layer you dig back, she's 5 years older.
Yeah, she's 29 for the 6th time.
Mm-hmm.
So that lady, Jean Dixon, did make several predictions of different assassinations, which I thought was interesting. The one attributed to the death of JFK was, "In the land of the free, a great leader will fall by an assassin's hand." So, pretty vague, but sounds like America.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could have been Abraham Lincoln, I suppose. But no, she was after that. She was born in 1918 or 1904. Whatever it was.
Or 1910.
Or 1910. And then about the attempt on Ronald Reagan, she had said, "A leader in power will face death but emerge unharmed, a miracle in the nation's capital." So I guess he was a recipient of an attempted assassination, or however you want to say that properly. Yeah. So that was a couple made by that lady, but Baba Vanga had quite a few more predictions, at least according to one site. Most sites, they had a few. So we'll get into it.
Jeez. Okay.
Yeah, so one site had it going far into the future, but again, it was one source, so who knows how
I think of like
reputable it was.
Good Omens. The
Oh, yes. And
accurate prophecies of Agnes Nutter. It's like,
right.
upon this year, an apple shall emerge that cannot be eaten or whatever, and invest thy shares.
Nice.
And
That's
all
what I
this
love.
stuff, and
Like
it's
the
like,
old
yeah.
timey things interpreted in the modern. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
So, Vangelia Pandeva Surcheva was born on October 3rd, it says 91. That's not right. I wrote that down wrong. It's not 1991. 1991.
No. Would it be 1919?
No, I have another
I
death.
think?
That's probably it. Let me triple check, because now I'm making her lie about her birth date.
Yeah.
1911. I'm so sorry, it's a typo. Okay. Let me try that again. Vangelia Pandeva Surcheva was born on October 3rd, 1911 in Strumica, which was part of the then called Ottoman Empire, which is now, it's part of, now it's just North Macedonia. Okay, so she was born very sickly, and they didn't give her a name right away since they didn't believe in doing so if they weren't sure if the child was going to survive.
Oh, that's really sad.
I've heard of, I don't know, similar customs, like when they're really young, they don't name them right away, like just in case. Like that came up in the indigenous people in like the Outlander books in North America. Some of the tribes were like that. It's interesting.
I've never heard of that before.
Not giving them a name right away? Yeah. Or if they're sickly. Yeah, I've never heard like specifically if they didn't know if they were going to survive because they're sickly. That was new to me. But when she made her first sound, they sent the midwife straight out into the streets from the house to get strangers' opinions on what they should name the infant.
The original internet poll. Is it gonna be baby make baby face?
Oh no, probably. That's what happens. Why? Why send the midwife? Don't you have an opinion?
Yeah.
Pardon me. Oh, forgive me on the pronunciation that I did not look up. Someone had suggested Andromeha or Andromash, which was Greek, but also that was popular with women of the area at the time to have Greek names for some reason that I didn't get into. Probably a rabbit hole I couldn't afford to dive down into and stay
Yeah.
focused. Yeah, that's a wiki hole I don't need to get into. But the midwife said, nah, anybody else? And eventually, another suggestion, Vangelia, a Bulgarian take on a Greek name, was the one. It's that I did look up to see if I could see the meaning or origin, and it's a short form of Evangelia. So I was like, oh, okay, I've heard of Evangeline.
Yeah, it's a nice name.
Yeah, I like it. So yeah, she's got a bit of a rough go. Her mother died in childbirth when she was 3, so giving birth to one of her siblings, I assume. Her father was an internal Macedonian Revolutionary Organization activist in the pro-Bulgarian branch.
Damn.
So he's he's doing the thing. And he was conscripted into the Bulgarian army during World War II, leaving her in the care of a neighbor. Post-war, her birthplace of Strumica was part of the kingdom of Serbs, Croats, and Slovenes, aka Yugoslavia. Ever heard of it?
No, never. Didn't we do an episode? Or I feel like we did an episode of Yugoslavia or talked about doing it. Or was that
We did
Slovenia?
Slovenia. We did
Yeah.
Slovenia. Because it's not Yugoslavia anymore, it's separated. Oh, I don't know. I'm just, see, there I go. I end up doing a mini history lesson because I'm weird. But it's just part of her past. Her father was then arrested for his pro-Bulgarian activities, so they fell into poverty. They were probably penniless. I don't know. Sucks, though. But he eventually remarried, and they all moved to Novo Selo. Unfortunately, the upheaval was not over for little Vangelia, not yet. She suffered another tragedy. One day she was minding her own business, walking along. She was 12 when she was picked up by a whirlwind that threw her up into the air and tossed her back down into a nearby field.
What the fuck?
I'm guessing it's like a mini tornado? I don't know.
That's the most bizarre thing I think I've ever heard. Just
I was not
minding
expecting
her
it either.
own business and she's picked up and thrown. It's like a shit that happens in a video game glitch.
She was like totally Wizard of Oz.
Yeah,
You're not in Kansas anymore.
wow.
Yeah, I guess it was a nearby field, so hopefully she's still in her area. But she was covered in dirt, stones, and branches, and unfortunately, like a bunch of grit all up in her eyes.
Okay. Is that what made her blind or mostly
Yeah,
blind?
unfortunately, it was the start of it. The pain was so bad she couldn't open them, and then yeah, she started to lose her sight. Oh, that's always so tragic to me when they're born seeing, and it's rough either way, I'm sure, but reminds me
Yeah.
of Little House on the Prairie when Laura has to start seeing and describing things for her sister Mary after she goes blind when she gets the scarlet fever. Oh. So in 1925, she started attending a school for the blind, just like Mary. But this time it was in the city of Zemun. Over the next 3 years, they taught her Braille, to play piano, knit, cook, and clean. So that was cool. Then her stepmom died, so she went home to help care for other siblings. She got very ill for about 8 months with something called pleurisy, which is an inflammation of the lining of the chest and lungs. And her doctors again
Oh,
thought she wasn't going to survive.
god
Uh,
damn. I feel like
yeah.
I've heard of that one before
Mm,
for some reason.
I know, it seemed like an old-fashioned term, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's had a not great prognosis, but she pulled through. And that's like where she finally starts to, have some good luck or just,
Damn.
less bad things. I don't know. Like it was during this time, around this time, that she starts getting her reputation as being a seer, like having some extra powers, that kind of thing. She was a healer also, so that was pretty cool. Um, and during the Second World War, that's when she really started to ramp up her reputation for like being a mystic and psychic and being able to help people, because many people would come to see if she could tell them where their loved ones were that were like lost in the war, and if they were
Oh, okay.
dead. Yeah. um, Even the great Tsar Boris III sought her services. So a great Tsar, like the kings of Russia.
Damn.
Uh, Crazy. Um, Oh, and she got married 10th of May 1942. She married Dimitar Gushtarov, and they moved to a place called Petrich. Um, he was a soldier in town. Oh yeah, I forgot. He was just in town to avenge his brother's death casually, and they met. you
Sorry.
know, post-war meet cute.
Oh, what are you in town for? I'm here to avenge my brother's death. Damn.
My name is Inigo Montoya. Kill my father. Prepare
Prepare
to
to
die.
die. That's great.
Oh, he had a bad ending. He would later fall ill, abuse alcohol, and die in 1962 after 20 years of marriage to
Oh,
Baba
damn.
Vanga. Yeah, I think they had an okay time for a while, maybe. I don't know.
Mm, I hope.
I would hope she wouldn't marry someone she didn't actually love after all the strife she's been through. Ugh. After World War II, the Bulgarian police tried to tamp down her psychic powers and ban her from actually using her abilities, but still people came to her.
Of course.
Like, fuck off. After police control and this is a quote. After police control and social pressure reduced in the 1960s, she was employed by the Petric Municipality and Institute of Suggestology.
Suggest. That's like if I tried to name something. Suggestology.
Any ideas? Suggestions? Yeah. Sorry. To continue, part of the Bulgarian Academy of Sciences. Their primary focus was studying her, some sources said. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, sure.
I mean, she's got
If you
some
guys
cool
are gonna pay her a
powers.
little money, yeah, you can study her.
Mm-hmm.
Give her something in return, though.
Yeah, and not just trying to stop her and ban her for whatever reason.
Yeah. Ugh.
So dumb. Yeah, so it was cool. Like I said, she had some learning, so she was like semi-literate in Bulgarian and could read some Serbian Braille. And she was written about in many books, so I would kind of like to get my hands on some of those. But
Yeah.
what we're all waiting for is the list of her successful and unsuccessful predictions.
Okay. Yep.
This is stuff that gets me. So yeah, at least one source had some of the most prominent ones listed of her alleged successful predictions, including World War II, like when and how, kind of, the fall of the USSR, Czechoslovakia, and Yugoslavia. How many times am I going to say Yugoslavia in this episode? Weird. Stalin's death date.
Damn.
Tsar Boris III's death date. There's that Tsar again. It's a Tsar. I don't know how to say it. The Kursk submarine disaster. Princess Diana's death, the 1985 Bulgarian earthquake, the September 11th, 2001 attacks, the 2004 Boxing Day tsunami, and the black man in the White House being the 44th president. I like that one.
Nice.
I was like, black man in the White House. Yeah, she called it. So it's so crazy. Like, yeah, her lifespan's in such a weird time that it's like all these different things from like
Yeah, I was not expecting it to go.
World War II. I know. But her predictions, like, some of them apparently, allegedly, go fairly far into the future. So we'll see. We'll see. There's some fun ones I'll get to at the end.
Damn.
Or interesting. I don't know if I'd say fun, but anyway.
Did she predict that a Cheeto would be like president twice?
An orange man will be the 45th president.
Yeah, he's gonna have a black man. He will pave the way for the orange man. And you're like, what?
Oh, when she said Martians. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So fun fact, she was sometimes called the Nostradamus of the Balkans, which I thought was cool. He's pretty well known.
Oh yeah.
And I kind of thought she was going to be more of a contemporary of his, like back in whatever. I tried to look up when he was. So I was like, when was Nostradamus?
I think he's like super old.
Right. And it's embarrassing, but I think I might get him mixed up with Rasputin, which is a little bit embarrassing. Because he's got, oh yeah, Nostradamus was French, not Russian, and he was from 1503 he was born.
Yeah. Only like 400 years before her.
I know, right? I'm like, oh shit, I guess she's more modern. Anyway, but then you see her and she's all like, with her little blind eyes and her little babushka, head wrapping.
I love it. I can picture it and I want to give her a hug.
Yeah. Okay, so they did seem to have some visions that overlapped her and Nostradamus, so that maybe that's where some of the overlap or confusion I had comes from. We'll say. They both saw significant changes coming in 2025. Dun dun dun.
Okay. For the better? Is it good news?
She saw some cool stuff. That a new energy source would be discovered. That'd be neat.
Cool.
Really good. And alien contact. Ooh. Like
that scares me.
Well, Nostradamus's were less pleasant, saying things like cruel wars were coming and an ancient plague. And I was like, well, that one I think already came.
I think both of those have happened in the last 4 years. So
yeah,
okay.
I think sometimes they just might be off a little bit in their timelines.
Yeah.
So let's see. Okay, some of her predictions I've already dealt with and come to terms with, but some of hers are going forward. So like obviously she predicted a lot of stuff that was going to happen after she died, and all that stuff. She said in 2022 we would see large cities that would experience drought. Sorry. I forget how to pronounce things when I'm reading out loud sometimes. So yes, large cities will experience drought, water shortages, which is like not really super specific of which ones. So then you can kind of make a correlation to things like how the UK has just experienced the driest July since 1935, and the government officially declared a drought on the 12th of August 2022.
Yeah.
She said Asia and Australia would face much flooding, and Sydney did in July get about 8 months of rain in just 4 days, which would cause the third major flood of the year. I know, that's a lot.
That's like insane.
Quite unusual.
Again, we talked about, or it might have been before, we talked about stereotypes, and when I picture Australia, it's not for rain.
No.
But I guess bless the rains down in
Africa.
Oh yeah, that's Africa. What am I thinking? Australia. Land down under. Damn.
Right. It's all the outback. Yeah, that's what you picture, like
Yeah.
the outback. Like the, um, and the Sydney Opera House.
Yeah.
For the 9/11 attacks, she said, "Horror, horror! The American brethren, I can't fucking talk. The American brethren will fall after being attacked by the steel birds. The wolves will be howling in a bush, and innocent blood will be spilled." And some people point to the fact that she said wolves in a bush, and then it was a bush in office at the time.
Yeah.
Eh. It's interesting. It's interesting.
But I mean, like, planes have been utilized in so many wars already. So steel birds? Like,
Right.
it could have been like dogfights, dropping bombs, whatever. Like,
Yeah, you can
there's
point to kind of how things correlate, but not that it's specifically, meant this
yeah,
particular event, usually, definitively. I agree.
yeah,
Yeah, you can kind of attribute it to anything. It's kind of like that confirmation bias. You're like, well, that could have meant this. And also, like, Steel
yeah,
Birds is a little odd when she's of a time where they have airplanes. It's kind of
yeah.
odd.
That's what I meant. Like, they're already using them during the World
Yeah.
Wars, so it's not something like she doesn't know that these exist, even.
Right. Yeah. And a lot of them aren't written down for these ones also, so it's a lot of like, what did she
Yeah.
say? So the Kursk disaster, which was in 2000, I didn't really remember it, but it sounded familiar once I started looking back as to what the fuck was that. So she had predicted it in around 1980, it said. So Baba Vanga predicted that in August of 1999, quote, Kursk would be covered with water and the whole world would weep over it.
Oh.
And there is a city named Kursk, but what happened like after was not in the city, but rather it was the disaster of the Russian nuclear sub called the Kursk that sank in the Barents Sea in August of 2000.
Oh, it cut off a bit. It what?
Oh, sorry. So it was probably referring to the Russian nuclear sub called the Kursk. Um, it sank in the Barents Sea in August of 2000, which was 1 year after she predicted the Kursk would be covered in water and the whole world would weep.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you remember that at all? We were young.
No.
You were 5. So probably not. I remember hearing about it afterwards.
One of the one of the earliest world events I remember is probably 9/11. That's probably like
Yeah.
one of the earliest things.
Yeah, because that's a pretty big one
And then
that a lot of people remember.
even that I don't remember like the day. It was more so like in the next few years where like they talked about it in movies and it was an event and
Exactly.
all that kind of stuff, more so than it actually like happening and me watching the news or anything.
Yeah, where I was about what 12 no 2001 I would have been 13, so yeah, I remember being in like my grade 8 classroom hearing about it. So it's one of those where I remember where I was, like a lot of people do. Yeah. But no, this one was a nuclear submarine that sank 12th of August in the Barents Sea, and tragically they lost all 118 personnel on board.
Oh, it's quite a few people.
Yeah, it was Russian Oscar 2 class. That's fun. Maybe that means something to my naval sister. Able Seaman Ressa. It was taking part in the first major Russian naval exercise in more than 10 years. The crews of nearby ships felt an initial explosion and a second, much larger explosion, but the Russian Navy did not realize that an accident had occurred and did not initiate a search for the vessel for over 6 hours. Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, this is what I remember hearing, is that it was not handled well by
Yeah.
The submarine's emergency...
Surprise.
Right? The submarine's emergency rescue buoy had been intentionally disabled during an earlier mission, and it took more than 16 hours to locate the submarine, which rested on the ocean floor at a depth of 108 meters, or 354 feet. Yeah. Over 4 days, the Russian Navy repeatedly failed in its attempts to attach 4 different diving bells and submersibles to the escape hatch of the submarine. Its response was criticized as slow and inept. Well, officials misled and manipulated the public and news media and refused help from other countries' ships nearby. President Vladimir Putin initially continued his vacation at a seaside resort in Sochi and authorized the Russian Navy to accept British and Norwegian assistance only after 5 days had passed.
Oh my god.
Right? 2 days later, British and Norwegian divers finally opened a hatch to the escape trunk in the boat's flooded 9th compartment, but found no survivors. But, like, if they could have gotten there soon, like right away, 23 people had survived for up to 6 hours in a compartment for a while. Yeah.
Damn.
That's
Or
a
if
rough
their
one.
thing hadn't been disabled.
Oh, right? Oh my god. The things about disasters that, like, those little things that all contribute, yeah, they get me fucking
Yeah, it's like the
crazy.
Chernobyl and everything. You're just like looking back on it, you're like, how many people like just did the wrong things and
Yes.
just said to keep waiting, or denied other countries trying to assist. Like, why are you saying no when other places are offering to help you? Like,
Yeah, or people ignore warning signs. Yeah, I like it on the one podcast I listen to called the Disaster Hour, and they give every disaster rating. Was it like preventable? Was it like
oh damn.
I don't know, survivable after it started, like avoidable, like all this like scale thing. And they're like, if it gets so many points, we get to point a finger and play the blame game. I'm like, yes, you do, because sometimes there's like just a couple people at fault in these crazy things. Yeah.
Yeah, damn.
Rough. Okay. So to get to the end of the predictions, then she talked about President Barack Obama. She said that the 44th president would be black.
When did she say that? Do we know?
I don't know. It didn't say.
Okay, because if she said it when he was already running, then that's like whatever. At that point, you basically have a 50% chance. But if she said it like 20 years before, then
she died before that, though. She died. We'll get to.
Okay.
Then she said something weird. About after that president. I don't know. This feels a little like, yeah. Maybe people are reading things into things nowadays. But she said something like, everyone will put their hopes in him to end it, but the opposite would happen. He will bring the country down and conflicts between North and South states will escalate. So I think some people think that means the president that came after. I don't know. This is an interesting one. Another assassination that she saw before it happened, and it was the assassination of Indira Gandhi. So not Mahatma Gandhi, but this is a lady. She was the former prime minister of India. It was the early 80s. But back in 1969, Baba Vanga had a vision of this woman and said, "The dress will destroy her. I see an orange-yellow dress in the smoke and fire." Sure enough, after pissing people off by ordering an attack on the Golden Temple in 1984, Indira Gandhi was shot and killed wearing an orange sari. The temple that she had ordered the attack on was the holiest site in, is it Sikhism? How do you say it? I think.
Probably.
And so she was shot by 2 of her Sikh bodyguards on October 31st of that same year. Go figure.
Shot by your own bodyguards. Now that's shit.
Right? Well, don't piss off the Sikhs.
Who's Trump's bodyguards? Can we get to them?
Oh dear.
Can-
Allegedly.
Uh,
Don't come at us.
yeah.
At one point, she predicted.
Hold on, I'm seeing a prediction.
Apparently, at one point, she predicted that the corona will be all over us. Take that as you will.
I feel so bad for that beer company. Like, goddamn, just.
I know, it's just the Spanish word for the sun. Come on now. But, and she finally, or I'll just end it on this one of the ones that she predicted, successfully. She predicted her own death at the age of 89 on August 11th, 1996. Yeah.
Okay. So if she died in 1996, then
Mhm.
I don't even
She
think
didn't
Obama was in Congress yet. Was he? How long was he in Congress for?
I don't
He got
think
elected in
so.
2008 the first time. He was a
Yeah.
congressman before that, right?
Oh, yeah, he probably would have been in politics, but yeah, hard to say.
Yeah.
But then, the misses. She apparently said that World War III would start in 2010. So, spoiler alert.
Okay.
It didn't end the following October. She, around that same prediction, had predicted in 1979 that Russia would dominate the world and that Putin would become Lord of the world and his glory would remain untouched.
Oh, well, good thing that didn't happen.
Hopefully not. Yeah, there was another thing that said something else about her and Nostradamus' predictions for 2025, but then they kind of just list them, so it's confusing. Like, somebody made a prediction that there would be an assassination attempt on Vladimir Putin, terrorist attacks in Europe, and a tumultuous reign for King Charles. Sorry. So the ones that were on the one website, which I didn't even print out my sources because I knew I would just have to email them to you anyway. I didn't need them on paper. But it wasn't Wikipedia. It wasn't,
Oh, okay.
None of the sources for these were like New York Times, let's be fair.
Oh, snap.
Even they're not great sometimes. But, so yeah, the World War II, this one said that after World War II. She said that after World War III was supposed to have happened in 2010, then we'd have a nuclear fallout in the Northern Hemisphere, lose animals and vegetations. Then Muslims will wage war against chemical surviving Europeans who survived the chemical weapons. And then, like, get skin cancer, and like everyone in Europe is dead, and New China becomes a world power by 2018. And by 2023, so as of last year, we were supposed to have a little bit of change in the Earth's orbit. I just want to know where these predictions are written down. Or who says she said them.
Yeah, who's verifying this?
It's amazing. Like, they are just so, like, these ones are clickbaity. They really are.
Yeah.
They're a little fear-mongery. It's not great.
Absolutely.
Oh my god. Again, with the creating a new energy source, this one said by 2028, and that hunger is gradually overcome, and launched a manned spacecraft to Venus, and this is all in 2028.
2028?
Yeah.
You hear that,
But
Elon Musk? Launch somebody to Venus.
This is on the timeline that we had World War III 10 years ago. Or whatever.
Well.
14.
Yeah.
That's why I just thought these ones were kind of fun. I was like, oh my god, who fucking knows, right? 2033, the polar ice caps are melting. Honestly, and I skipped some. Like, they're not all of them. 2043, Muslims rule Europe. 2046, we're able to manufacture organs and clone things.
I thought we could already grow organs in pigs, can't we? Certain
And we've
ones.
cloned a few things, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we're getting there.
Old news. What do we care? We got another 20 years. No, we're 20 years ahead of the time.
Aliens, yeah, we already know they're real by now, okay?
Yeah, God.
2066, the US attacks Rome with a climate weapon thing, like a freeze ray.
Sorry, that's so weird. It's like
Mr.
a
Freeze.
superhero movie.
I put freeze ray, but it was like a climate weapon that made everything cold. I'm like a freeze ray? But
They just put an ice cube over Rome?
oh, don't you know the Democrats already control the weather?
With their minds.
By 2076, a classless society or communism, whatever, takes over. We must finally eat the rich and have a nice society.
We'll have no rich left,
equal.
yeah.
No, we won't. Europe's all gone. This was confusing. 2088, a new disease, aging for a few seconds, defeated by 2097.
What? Aging for a few seconds?
Yeah, I don't know if we've almost eradicated aging by then, so now it's just like, oh, you got ageified for a few seconds. I'm like, what does that mean?
You were a baby, but now you're an adult. Start paying taxes.
It's literally like bullet form. There's no explanation whatsoever.
Wow. Yeah, where was that written down? I need the source.
I need the tablet.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, she probably did own a tablet. She did. No, wait, 1996. But she was born in 1990. Wait, maybe that's why I wrote 1991. Anyway. Yes, no more aging. 2100, artificial sun illuminates the dark side of Earth. Why?
So it's always day. We no longer sleep and we all become paranoid and
Yeah, it's like when Mr. Burns has a plot to block out the sun in Springfield. Oh my god. 2111, people become living robots. Question mark?
what does that even mean?
We're all bionic. I don't know. 2123, war between small nations, quote unquote, only. Again, shrug.
For the rest of our amusement? What does that even
Yeah,
mean?
New China was definitely not involved. They're a big power. Old Canada's gone. No, I don't know.
And what happened to Russia ruling everything?
Oh, yeah. Hungary receives signals from space, 2125. I know, I thought we already met aliens in this timeline. Anyway. Also, why Hungary? Why them?
Yeah.
It's like they sent out a signal a million years ago. It just came back,
Yeah.
They're like, oh shit. 2130, full-ass colony underwater on Earth started. Under the sea.
Atlantis?
Yeah.
New Atlantis.
Oh god. No explanation whatsoever. 2164, animals turn half human. That's my favorite.
I love it.
Centaurs everywhere.
But if we're already half robots, does that mean animals are half people or half robot?
Ooh, yeah, are they evolving to BoJack Horseman? There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions.
Yeah. At what step of human evolution do we start growing wires and steel?
Oh my god.
We
$600
get too many artificial joints, like hip transplants and knee transplants, so that we just start being born with artificial joints.
We're already starting with what is it, Neuralink, the implants and stuff. And some of them can literally help visually impaired people see better and stuff. But they still need a bunch of updates and shit. And once it's in your head, it's kind of hard to update. We're still in the baby stages of this shit right now.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Ugh.
All
right.
So
human animals, okay.
Yeah. 2183, Mars colony is now a nuclear power and demands its own independence.
Okay.
darn colonies. 2195, the sea colony is fully developed.
Atlantis?
Just mermaids. The next one was the kind of scary but vague. 2221. In the search for aliens, we find something terrible.
What?
Why? Oh, God. Oh, this is fun. Racism has ended. So in 2273, there's a mixing of the, I don't even know how to say it, like the Asian races, the Caucasian, and like the, do we just say the black, the African American races? To make a new color. I don't know if it's purple or orange. Call back. Oh, God, no. Hopefully not. 2288, time travel.
Wow, that seems a little late for some of
I
this
know,
other
right?
stuff to have already happened.
We're on Mars. I'm like,
Um,
oh. Maybe we can get back in time.
maybe time travel prevented World War III and all that stuff already. Huh?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Well, if you believe the project, the one with Andrew Bastianich, he said,
Oh yeah, where Obama went on the moon or whatever.
yes, because they time travel back to pick all the presidents before they become president, and they also had the ability to time travel forward and go to the moon, and it was all one theory. And like,
Yeah,
I think he also said he was going to be president by 2028. So that's the one we're still waiting for, really.
there was something about 2028. What was it? Go back.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, it was fucking the new energy source, hunger overcome, and spacecraft to Venus. Oh my God, I don't even know. Secrets of the Moon revealed, 2304.
What's Secrets of the Moon?
It's hollow.
We've been on,
I don't know.
We've been on the moon for like 50 years. Like, come on. At this
It's
point,
like we've only been
250
there
years. Yeah,
We're
but
not that good at it.
they're sending probes and all that stuff, and
Oh,
they have
that's true,
samples.
yeah.
Like,
Moon
and at
rocks.
that point, we've been on the moon 250 years before, and the secrets of the moon finally get revealed.
Yeah.
These
Luther
are
decided
fun.
to go drilling down. No.
Yeah, we drilled for oil on the moon.
Oh my God. There's a movie where they went, I didn't remember watching it, but then they covered it on the podcast, How Did This Get Made? And it was called Moonstruck? Moonstorm? Moonfall! They had to go up to the moon. It was doing something weird, and then they were going to blow it up, and there were aliens on there. I was like, did I watch this? I think I did. Bizarre.
Sounds crazy.
It was, but like, Halle Berry. Like, it was, anyway. There's some crazy movies out there, you guys.
Halle Berry.
I didn't remember I'd watched it till the end where there was like, and then they found some weird structures on the moon and they were like aliens, sort of. And I was like, oh, wait. I did see this terrible film. No questions were answered. In 3005, there is a war on Mars, which is a little ironic given that Mars means war, the Roman god pantheon. 3010, a comet hits the moon. Moonstruck. We flee Earth, no life left. Wah wah.
But I thought we were on Venus or something.
No, we still have our colonies then, because then we have some big resource wars happening. Something about back to beast mode. I don't know if that has to do with half animals again.
Wow.
Maybe I paraphrased that. Hard to
Beast
say.
mode. What is
Beast mode. Also, this is fun. End of Evil and Hatred by the year 4308, and a mutation that lets us use more of our brain power.
4308? 2,000 years from now?
Yeah.
We finally end hate?
And
so
the world has
depressing.
ended. We're literally
Yeah.
just on other planets. And this is even more depressing. Well, not long after that, 4599, we achieve immortality. Yay! That's not bad.
I thought we were
5,000.
half robots already.
Who fucking knows, Kelsey?
Isn't that the halfway to immortality would just be us being robots, like a brain in a robot?
I didn't edit this.
Yeah. I need to see these sources, Lana. This is wild.
The timeline. Finally, 5076, a boundary universe is found, and then 3 years later, 5079, the end of the world as we know it. It's ice cream time. No, and I feel fine.
Oh my god.
Yes, that was just for funsies. Don't
That's
let
wild.
get some existential dread.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, I think she did leave some cool thoughts behind. The one article on Medium or whatever was like, you know, she taught us that the invisible world is far more powerful than the visible one, like getting all these powers after she loses her ability to see.
Yeah.
And she also was like, even though she makes predictions, she was like, not to say that that meant that they had to happen. She was very much like, nothing is predestined necessarily. It's all written, but we have the power to change the course of it. And like,
okay.
just like, don't let life limit you. She grew most powerful after her like disability. And they just ended it with a couple cool quotes that I liked. Your vision will become clear only when you look into your heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. Carl Jung. And trust the timing of your life. Everything happens for a reason, and every experience will serve you in some way. Unknown. Maybe it was Baba Vanga.
Yeah.
Crazy. So, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool that she was just like, I mean, you know, don't let this stop you. I just see things, but doesn't mean.
Yeah, maybe she's seeing a bunch of different possibilities.
Right. Like Doctor Strange. And he can just see 2 million. Yeah, all at once. But
yeah. Well, like what, 2,000 years from now, when somebody digs through our podcast archives and hears these bizarre predictions, they can finally, we have helped perpetuate Baba Yaga, Baba Vanga's.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, I didn't
not
even
Baba
notice.
Yaga.
It's so hard not to
Baba
say
Vanga. Yeah. Her legacy. So 2,000
right.
years from now, people can tell us if the predictions really came
If any
true
of
or
them
not.
shook out, yeah.
Yeah.
They'd be like,
Damn.
oh, well, she was off by a few years, but then got this one, and this one could have applied to this. Yeah.
Yeah.
We blew up the moon.
Damn.
Well, we can't really change that one. No, whatever it was. The secrets of the moon. I love that.
Yeah, what's the secret of the moon?
I want to know.
Damn.
Maybe it really is hollow. Something like that. Who fucking knows?
That was wild.
It got a little wild. Yeah. We're just gonna start it with some weird history, and then I'm gonna hit you with like some futuristic shit, and you're just gonna be like, what?
People becoming half robots, and then animals becoming half people, but then back to beast mode, but then
I was so glad I found that one source. It was so entertaining. I was like, wait, nobody
crazy.
else talked about this, and I had to scroll down so far. Everyone else is just like 9/11, you know.
You're like, tell us more about the animals and Atlantis.
Yes. Now I want to look up all Nostradamus's predictions and like all of everybody's predictions that supposedly came true or not. Like, I find that so fascinating.
Yeah.
it's like having a code or a cipher or something that you need to crack, and it's so cryptic, which we obviously love. Oh my god. All right. Well, this is a bit, yeah, the last two we kind of divided up, so it's a little bit shorter than some of ours have been, but goddamn, if we
That's
haven't
okay.
released some long ones lately.
Yeah, our one before this, kind of two-parter was what you said, almost 3 hours long. So
Yeah. Yeah, because it could have been a two-parter, but I think I don't even know anymore, man. Yeah, I think I released it. I was like, whoa, goddamn, that's almost a
yeah.
whole Marvel movie.
You guys get it. It's a busy time of year. We're all
Mhm.
hustling.
That's right. Make that money, yo.
Yeah.
I came home, cooked supper. I was like, oh, I need to grab something to drink, and now time to record. It was just like,
Yeah. And I told the lad I was off today, and I slept in and then was only awake for a couple hours and thought, should I take a nap? So,
But usually you're here, we're recording, and you're like, I've been up since 7 or 4, or yeah. So
yeah.
it's like, that's totally deserved. Yeah.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out. We will be coming at you next week with, what are we talking about, Kelsey?
Some Egypt crimes.
Hell
True
yeah.
true crime.
We are going
Some
back to
stuff.
Africa.
Yeah.
And not to talk about the Spanx this time.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Probably some more depressing shit, but oh well, what can you do?
Yeah.
Sorry about it. They have true crime too. It's not all ancient curses, although some of it is, but you guys have probably heard about those already, so I'm going to steer away from that.
Yeah, we've done some Egyptology,
Yeah.
legends, myths kind of things. So,
Everybody knows there's like kind of the grave robbing sort of aspect, all that kind of
yeah.
cursed whatnot, but yeah. Who knows? Maybe we'll see some more mummies or just, murders. Who's to say? Mummies getting murdered? Oh my god. I'm so gross. Okay. Time to shut me off now. All right. We'll catch you next week.
Yeah.
Keep it cryptic. All right.